so there I am, 8 o'clock in the morning, just rolling into London after a 5 a.m. start to head to the Julian Assange vigil, and I get a text from Dominic Johnson from BBC Radio Nottingham, no less.
Do you smell it? That smell, a kind of smelly smell. A smelly smell that smells.
Wanting to talk about cannabis, the current topic of the day, cannabis, and obviously the medical use of cannabis, probably Alfie Dingley and Billy Caldwell. So I texted back and said, sure, but I'm on a coach and I don't particularly want to do that, right now. It would be, very impersonal, and, it might be a discomfort to other passengers.
Smelly. Anchovies.
Why?
Anchovies!
So he arranged to say drive time in 4 or 5 in the afternoon, and I said, yeah, fine. So I went off and I did some of my own research by looking into the independent, the online newspapers, to see what information I could garner that I could bring to the table.
Great horny toads! Yeah, mule! Yeah, yeah, yeah! Whoa, camel! Whoa! Whoa! Whoa, camel! Whoa! Oh, come on, whoa! When I say whoa, I mean whoa!
Singing in the bathtub.
Now I hope that'll learn you humpback muley.
And I'll show you a picture of the list that I hastily scribbled in the morning, ready for Dominic to call me back. Now on that list you'll have seen Victoria Aitken's name, her husband, is it Paul Kenwood, and also you'll have seen Philip May, Theresa May's husband's name on there, and a few percentages of the amount in tonnes of cannabis that's grown in this country for export purposes. And I brought that up during the phone call that I had with Dominic shortly before I was due to go on. He asked me a little bit about what I was going to say, and I gave him those statistics and those names, all in the public domain. And he was aghast. He didn't want to go on with those names, using those names. He said he hadn't researched this, so he couldn't allow it to go on. And I pointed out that it was already in the public domain. It's in the Independent, it's in the Daily Mail, it's in the Metro. These names have all been, proven to be involved in the production of cannabis in this country on a massive scale for export for medical purposes. with that, Dominic said, I said, I'm not prepared to go on and not name these people. And he said, oh, well, in that case, you can't go on, and put the phone down. So it just goes to show that, Dominic Johnson goes on about these smashing reporters doing great stories.
Every man for himself. Quick, quick. To the lifeboats, to the lifeboats. We're foundering fast. Oh, no, you don't. The captain goes down with his ship.
Whereas he literally, as you'll see from this video coming up now, he literally did not want the people behind these drug sales, these cannabis sales abroad, he didn't want them named because they're all related to serving MPs. At the same time, you've got this situation where they say, or the government is claiming that there is no the government's claiming that there's no medical benefit for marijuana, for cannabis, and then they're selling 95, or they're producing 95 tonnes for export for medical purposes and scientific research. The hypocrisy is, outstanding. But I mean, I'm more concerned about, Alfie Dingley and Billy Caldwell. There are hundreds of children just like that all over the country, and they're all quietly having to produce their own cannabis and make their own cannabis oil. The parents are to protect and keep their children from these sort of seizures. I mean, it's ludicrous that the government. He is. It sounds like. Yeah. Sure. These facts are all in the public domain. I took them all off of papers like The Independent this morning to do some of my own research, so as I could actually bring something credible to the table. So they are. So you don't want me to name Philip May, Theresa May's husband, for profiting for growing cannabis and exporting it for medical purposes through his company Capital Group, and you don't want me to tell you how much profit he makes. Is that right? I'm not interested in doing anything for you then. If you're not going to report the truth, then. Secretary of State, Crime, Safety and Vulnerability, Victoria Atkins' husband, Paul Kenwood, whose company, British Sugar, has exclusive rights with GW Pharmaceuticals and these are the details that I've just given BBC Radio Nottingham, and they don't want to put me on if they're not, because they don't want me to name the people in government that are making money out of cannabis, and they don't want me to tell how much we produce in this country. 95 tonnes in 2016. We're the largest producer of cannabis in a cannabis plant in the world, and we're exporting the largest amount. So that just goes to show that the BBC, when given the facts about who's behind it and who's profiting, they just said, oh, would you mind not naming names? And I said, well, I don't want to be on your show if you're not going to tell the truth. So bollocks to them.